Has Bungie finally fixed leveling in Edge of Fate? I think I can definitively say, at least in my opinion, yes, they finally have. Today I'm going to go over all the new changes that they've implemented for the leveling system and how they are very, very beneficial to you going up really quickly. But before that, since there's a lot of people that are doubtful and maybe just burnt out on leveling, let's talk about why you should at least care about leveling. Or even if you don't, at least retain the information for the future. So there's two main reasons why people will care. Number one, in Renegades, there is no longer going to be a power level decrease, meaning that whatever light level you are now, and you currently go into December, that will be your level. You will no longer go back down to 200. On the opposite end of that, you also will not have to grind light level if you reach 550 now. There will be no increase, or at least not initially, as they've said. So if you end up being 550, you're just going to be max light going into Renegades immediately. And the benefit of that is, once you get into that upper tier bracket of the endgame, the higher tier Grandmaster and Ultimatum, you will just be getting tier 5s everywhere in everything that you do regarding the portal and the Desert Perpetual raid. This will also apply to Renegades and whatever they release in that. The new 6-man activity, whatever lightsaber, sword, or swords that they introduce, you can go out and farm those immediately at a tier 5. Any Star Wars themed armor, Mars armor, whatever, again, you'll be able to get tier 5s, assuming they have a good trait on them for a 2-piece and 4-piece to actually go and want to farm out. And the other reason, albeit a bit smaller and not directly tied to light leveling, they finally fixed the stupid unstable core economy. And by fixed, I mean they're getting rid of it entirely. So now when you do a level up, you won't feel like something is trying to strangle you the entire time, trying to infuse all of your good items up to the cap at whatever you're at. Now, before we dive into activities, let's talk about what they actually changed in the game. Mainly, there's two parts. There's the portal section, and then there's the Desert Perpetual raid. Let's go over the portal first, then we'll talk about the raid. So, on screen now will be the initial changes to the point system for the portal and leveling within it. You'll see all the difficulties on screen: normal, advanced, expert, master, grandmaster, ultimatum, and then you'll see the leveling ranges, and then the grades you can get in the portal and what pluses you will get from those drops. So, as an example, you can see in the B column, now for normal, you get +6s. Then as you go to advanced, +5, expert +4, master +2, and so on. And then as you gradually get into the 300s or so, you'll be paying attention to the A rank, which will then give you +7s, +6s, +5s, +4s, +3s, and +2s in difficulty in that order. The numbers increasing aren't the only positive though. These are not just for prime drops. These are for just drops, period, within the completion of the activity. And on top of that, if you have bonus engram drops for that activity active, you will also then get those to drop for you as a powerful drop. Just an example, here we are at the portal, and you can see I have 3 engrams ready to go at Cabal's Watch. Now, if I run Cabal's Watch right now, and I get a normal run in, I get my A score and so on, I will get the 3 bonus drops, plus the 3 completion rewards to drop at the same time, which would be 6 rewards, and if I'm lucky, I can get a prime as well, which would make it 7. Then, all 7 of those drops would be a +2 for me since I'm already in the ultimatum bracket. But if you are in, let's say, Master, they will all be +4s. If you're in Grandmaster, they will all be +3s. So hypothetically, if you got 7 drops at Master, that would be 28 points worth of leveling. You need 8 points for 1 power level in this game, so that would be over 3.5 levels for your character in one singular run. Well, actually, that'd be exactly 3.5, and then you'd have to also pray for no dupes, but you get the idea. You get a lot of leveling done within just one activity run, and Cabal's Watch can be ran in like 5 to 10 minutes depending on how good your fire team is. So imagine going from, I have to run activities and pray that I get a prime for one single +3 drop, to now, I'm going to get up to 7 drops in one run within 10 minutes, and then potentially go up over 3 levels. Now, once you've completed that activity, you can then move on to other activities where you also might have 3 engrams stacked up, and then run that again for the exact same result. Now, you might be thinking, well, Sneak, I don't want to run these other activities. Some of them are incredibly long or are just stupid, right? So, like, Midtown Onslaught, it could be fun, but you also don't want to invest 30 to 40 minutes. Yeah? So here, I have a nice solution for you. You may have noticed that I have my engrams filled in almost every slot in these activities, except for Heliostat, because I ran that earlier for the new exotic catalyst, right? This actually matters, because in the seasonal hub, you can get additional engrams to drop for you. Now, Bungie has changed it from getting them from the dailies to now getting them from the weeklies. Each weekly will now give you 4 portal bonus drops right there and then, so you don't have to like log in every day and do these over and over, right? So what you can do with this information is you complete these bounties, but don't hand them in right away. Just complete them and let them chill for a second. Then what you can do with the portal is whatever activity that you enjoy the most in the portal, whether it's the fastest possible, the most efficient, the most fun you have, whatever it may be, you have that mission be ran, then you lose your 3 engrams. So let's say Heliostat is my favorite, even though no one's gonna ever say that. So I don't have any engrams in Heliostat, and everything else is full. Because of the way that I've set this up, if I go into my seasonal hub after doing Heliostat, and I then activate this, just one of them, I'll get my portal engrams to drop into that slot, meaning I have just refilled that one slot that I wanted to do over and over again. Now, let's say you don't want to run the same activity into the ground. That's totally fine too. So all you got to do is just run your typical portal gameplay, whatever way you want, whatever activities that you want, and after you've done with them, you go into this menu, and then you can hand in these weeklies, all 5 of them, for an additional extra 20 engrams, and then you can use those 20 engrams to keep increasing your light level even higher. Oh, and one last thing about doing the strategy. So let's say I'm running Cabal's Watch over and over again as it's the fastest, and you get 3 drops and so on. And everything else is full in my portal. All the engram slots are full. Since they are, in this strategy, I will be running the activity, and then when I get an engram to drop at the end of that activity, it'll automatically go into Cabal's Watch for the portal. That way, I'll get 4 drops in my next run instead of 3. Now, when it's going to come to efficiency, you have either the portal or the raid to choose from. If you're a veteran raider and you like raiding, and it's not boring to you like some portal gameplay is, then that's going to be your cup of tea, which I'll talk about in a second. But for the portal, here's the info for efficiency's sake. If you're a solo player, then Caldera and K1 Logistics are still going to be your bread and butter for the fastest in terms of efficiency for your power level. You will get 4 drops if you have engrams stacked up like I do, or you just get 1 drop per run, and if you're doing the strategy I mentioned, then you could potentially get 2 drops every run. In Fireteam Ops, I think there's really 2 choices for you to have here, regardless of engrams or not, and that's going to be either Inside Terminus, the strike, where you can do just runs over and over into the ground in like 6-7 minutes. It's pretty casual. Or you can do Cabal's Watch. The only difference here is that Cabal's Watch has 3 completion rewards plus whatever amount of bonus engrams that you have, and Inside Terminus is only 2. So if you don't like the Reclaim setup and it's too long for you or too difficult, whatever it may be, then just downgrade to Inside Terminus. That is much more free. If you have a good fire team that has nice coordination, then I would recommend Cabal's Watch, as you get that extra drop and save time. I should also note that in Fireteam Ops and in Solo Ops, this is where you'd be farming for Smoke Jumper armor, which is insane right now. However, if you want to run Pinnacle Ops specifically to try to get Bushido gear, then the Nightmare of Goron is your best bet. This is about a 4 to 5 minute run, and you can get 2 completion drops and then 3 bonus drops, or up to 3 bonus drops per run. It is, again, pretty casual. The boss is pretty much a joke, and you can run several different weapons to kill him, to one-phase him. And yeah, there's nothing more to it. This is your best option to farm Bushido gear, in my opinion. And for Crucible, yeah, nice meme. I think I'm better off just telling you guys to go smash your head against the wall. You'll have more fun doing that. One final note in terms of power leveling with portal stuff. So the chest at Zavala, the supply drop, you can use this 2 ways. If you're under 300, you can utilize this to catch yourself up to 300 instantly, assuming you're at least Guardian rank 4. If you're above 300, these are still going to be powerful drops for you, so you can still get bonus leveling out of this just for going to the chest in the tower. Okay, now who wants to talk about some DP? Here are the main things you need to know about the raid after all of these changes. First off, the raid now has 2 weekly challenges, one for just completing the raid on either difficulty, regular or epic, and then a bonus second weekly once you've completed that and want to do 1 epic run if you choose to do so. Doing this will give you basically double drops. So initially, you run your first raid and you'll be getting 2 drops per encounter, which is going to be 8 total drops for encounters, and then also 1 additional drop from Korgos at the end once you've beaten the raid. So that is 9 drops right there. Then you can choose to either do the epic version and get more additional loot on top of the normal that I just mentioned, or you can just simply go back into normal a second time. You see, with the new change, now you can just farm the same raid over and over and over for powerful drops, so as long as you clear the entire raid. Meaning, if you start normal DP, you do the full raid, you complete it, and get all your drops, you can then just go right back into a new fresh instance and do it all over again without a weekly lockout. And here are the leveling changes for the raid as well. If you're under 100, it's +7, 100 to 200 is +6, 200 to 300 is +5, 300 to 400 is +4, 400 to 500 is +3, and 500 plus is +2. So if you're in the 300 to 400 bracket, potentially, once you complete that encounter and you get 2 drops, that can just give you a power level outright right there. Most of these changes honestly should have been in the raid already by default at launch, but I guess it's better late than never, right? Anyway, the point is, the raid is actually beneficial in power now, and you can also farm out the normal armor and weapons if you need them, like, let's say, Antiday, for example. I mean, you've always been able to farm the weapons, but now you can actually do it without them dropping at, like, -700 power. And that is it. That is the initial massive overhaul of power leveling now in the game, and I think, like I mentioned at the start of the video, they finally actually fixed power leveling, and it should be pretty smooth for all different kinds of players, whether you are a raid player specifically for PvE, or if you just want to do casual stuff in the portal, solo, team, whatever. But let me know what you guys think. Do you like the changes? Do you still not want a power level? Or now do you think you'll actually be preparing for Renegades just to have a leg up on all the tier 5s going in the future? In the meantime, if you did enjoy the video, please consider subscribing today. It does help the channel grow and is much appreciated. If you want to go the extra mile, you can leave a like and or comment below as well. If you don't know what to leave as a comment, you can leave exotic pineapple as the comment. Thanks for watching. Catch you next time.